Hey, lovely people. It is your girl, Kia Simone. I'm here tonight with two lovely ladies, Aysia and Marquelle. Tonight, we will be talking about the pandemic babies. So, without further ado, let's just go ahead and bring them right on in. Hi, Aysia.
Hey, Nakia.
Hi, Marquelle.
Hey guys.
Hey, Marquelle.
Hey.
So, hi. So, how's everything going?
You know, everything with me is still a little hectic. I mentioned to you earlier, I just moved, so I'm still in a little
So we just thank you for still coming on, jumping on. It's gonna be real quick and cute. We just want to, just give the people some, information. And you ladies are looking very pretty today. I always have to wear my glasses because I can't see it. I just want to just get a look, but can't see. So, Marquelle, we decided that we're going to do a little icebreaker just to, wait for the people to come in and just introduce. So when you're not talking, hit the mute button so it will not be an echo. So, let's play a little icebreaker. So, what's your favorite comfort food? So, before we start, I just want to give kudos or shout out to Table Topics. This is a cool game. A cool game for when your girlfriends come over. There's different versions. There's a family version. There's a spouse version. So just shout out to Table Topics. So what's your favorite comfort food? Aysia?
Look, I was like, well, who gonna go first? Okay, so for me, honestly, I probably this is so sad, but I probably have a favorite comfort drink over food. And it's going to be a Pepsi. That's my, oh my God, I'm having a bad day. I need a Pepsi. Oh my God, I'm having a rough day. I need a Pepsi. Oh my God, I'm so happy. I need a Pepsi. That's probably my go-to. And that's so horrible. But clearly, we about to start this thing. Let me get a Pepsi. So for me, it's going to probably be a Pepsi. Now, if I just had to default to a food, as basic as it sounds, it's going to be chicken. No, probably a steak. That's my ultimate. A steak and a Pepsi. A steak, a potato, and a pop. That's me.
Okay, so how do you like your steak? Because they told me I don't eat my steak right.
You eat it well done? That is incorrect. I'm so disappointed. Yes. I like mine medium. I just think that's the best way to eat them. But if a good steak, you don't need any type of sauce or anything like that. So I like mine medium. And a potato, any kind of way you slice and dice a potato and give it to me, I'm going to roll with it. So that's probably my ultimate comfort. Listen, a steak and some zip. Listen, I get you together with a steak and a potato.
So listen,
yeah, potatoes are good.
So, Marquelle, what is your comfort food? I didn't know Aysia was Pepsi, but what is yours?
So now that she said potatoes, I'm thinking potatoes because I eat potato everything. Like over rice, I just like, besides like the starch, I like potatoes. Like I love potato skins, French fries, mashed potatoes, hash browns. But my favorite comfort food would be macaroni and cheese. But it's got to be homemade.
Okay, that's what's up. But I think comfort food for me also is the potatoes. Now that you said that, Marquelle, because no matter how you slice it, I was eating mashed potatoes the other day. I was like, these are so good. They were just basic mashed potatoes. So I can see that. So let's go on to the next one. So which store would you like to win unlimited shopping? Okay, Marquelle?
Well, it's not a store, but I'm going to go with the first thing that popped up in my head was Amazon. So that's because Amazon really basically has everything, and I think they have like a Whole Foods and Amazon merger or something. So I will go with Amazon.
That was a good one because I love Amazon, and that didn't even cross my mind. I was gonna say Target, but I might have to switch to Amazon because you can't get anything off Amazon. I be having so many Amazon packages come. I'm gonna go with Amazon too. I like that.
So I like Amazon because I do receive a package from Amazon at least twice a week. But Target is like bougie, like kind of stuff, that cute stuff. So Amazon has everything, but it's something about Target that they just have stuff that you don't even go in there looking for anything, and you come out with a whole new bathroom ensemble. You be like, how? Like, so I think I'm gonna stick with Target, but Amazon is a good one too, Marquelle. Like I said, if I could do two, good point. So the last question: if you had 1 week by yourself at home, what would you do? Aysia?
I would clean up. I know that's so. I got 4 kids, so it's like the minute I clean up one room and go to the next room, the room I just cleaned. So just to have a whole clean house for a week with no kids, and I don't have to shoes and toys. That's probably what I do. I'll probably just enjoy my house and just clean up.
Marquelle, Asia's gonna clean up. What are you doing?
If I had a week to myself, I'd probably take a nap the whole time. I'm not cleaning up. I mean, because I clean as I go. So, everything is pretty much clean, but I take a nap the whole week.
And I get it. So, I would take a nap and probably watch, a little Netflix between naps. So what's good on Netflix right now that you're watching?
I haven't watched it, but I heard a lot of people watching Clickbait.
That was good.
Yeah, I didn't watch it yet. I
haven't either.
Yeah, I watched the Carriage movie was that on Netflix? Oh, that's something else. Never mind.
Oh, is that on Prime?
Oh, I think it was a BET movie, he said. I don't know. But I heard Clickbait was really good. And something else my friends was just talking about in our group chat. I have to
Clickbait was interesting. I watched it in I think one setting. I don't even think I made it to the next day. It was like, don't judge me. You get up, clean up a little, make a meal. And I think I watched it pretty much in one day. Okay, so now that we know about these ladies, we're going to just go ahead and jump into the questions. Because again, these are ladies that had babies during the pandemic. So I was surprised to hear when I actually looked up a couple of articles. It actually shows that it's not as big as I thought it was. I thought it was going to be more pandemic babies. Now, the people around me, I guess you guys just had a lot of babies. I purchased a lot of gifts during this time. And not just from you guys, a lot of gifts went out. And I was like, what's going on? That's why I wanted to do this show, because I was wondering, how many people actually, had babies. But according to, I did look up and it says it fell by 4% in 2020. So did you guys expect that, or you think there was more babies?
I feel like it's wet. I feel like everywhere I turned, I seen pregnant people. And I know so many people that were just pregnant or had babies during the pandemic.
And maybe it was just in our circles, because again, people that I even knew had boyfriends, or people that I even know was seeing somebody. I guess they were quarantined with someone and got pregnant. I don't know. But the people that I know, it was a lot of people that had babies.
I wonder how what are they calculating those dates by? Because I know people that's still pregnant now or having babies, and that would still be considered like a pandemic baby, technically, because we're still in the midst of the pandemic. I think I got 2 cousins, honestly.
Yeah, so
that's a good question. Because if you think about it, the pandemic started in March 2020. So if those people were pregnant from March or February, I think they may have had their baby in December. So it just depends when that survey.
Because I know somebody that had a baby in December and couldn't have anybody in the hospital, and things like that. So.
It was just amazing to see those numbers. And it was only 3.6 million in the U.S. during the pandemic. But again, like I said, my pocketbook is a little lighter because of all these pandemic babies. So I was just after a while, okay, we're gonna have to spread these little gifts out. So let's just move ahead. So let's start off with Marquelle. Marquelle, can you introduce yourself and tell us the age of your little one? And if you feel comfortable, share your name, the baby's name.
Okay, so I'm Marquelle Carrie Hayes, and my daughter Lyric Lyric Hayes, she's 6 months. She was born February 19th of 21.
Okay, Aysia.
Okay, so my name is Aysia. My little one is 4 months. She's about to be 5 months on the 19th. Her name is Tegan, and I had her April the 19th.
Okay, so I like both names. I like
I like
Lyric and Tegan. So I'm thinking how you got the name Marquelle, but how did you come up with that name?
Well, the L, because of Logan, my oldest son, he's 6. So we wanted to keep the L. So we was thinking, my mom, she's like the big name, the baby namer of the family, like the whole family. So I was thinking Lennox and then Lyric. So it was kind of between those two. And I was thinking like Lola May, and my mom like, no Lola May. But I thought the name is so pretty. So it was just the L. It was just the L. And then I love music. So it was just the L.
And that's what I was thinking. So I was thinking it was you because of the music, because I know you are a diehard music fan. She's very diverse. She'll tell you in a minute, like, don't just like assume what type of music I like.
That's me too, Marquelle. I like a lot of different music.
So Aysia, how did you come up with that name? Because that's a beautiful name also.
Yes. So it's kind of similar to Marquelle with the L's. We kind of wanted to stay in the T realm because it's a lot of T's. So we went through a lot of them. I think I had, like you, a whole lot of different ones. I had Tinsley. Tegan was one. Taylor one? Tatum. Oh, Tatum. Yeah, Tatum was one. I really like Tatum too. Tatum was one. And then I just ended up really, really, really liking Tegan when I put it with the middle name, and it just kind of all flowed for me. So I really ended up liking how that flowed.
Awesome. So if somebody, look up and somebody have your baby name, because that's why a lot of people don't like telling their baby's name, because all of a sudden they look around and it's a whole bunch of Tegans and Lyrics. So but yeah, those are cool names. So again, I didn't realize that people were pregnant, and sometimes you're working with people and you don't realize till late in the game. So what was your reaction when you realized that you were pregnant?
I can go since she on pause. I wasn't really surprised. For me, I wasn't really surprised. I mean, my body works like clockwork. So when the clock didn't tick like it was supposed to, I was like, oh yeah. I'm talking about like my body is, I know, every 28 days, So when the 28th day came around and nothing was happening, I was like, oh.
Okay. So it was one of those situations like you could go either way. Like if I get pregnant, I get pregnant. If I don't, I don't.
Yeah, well, so for me, I kind of was like, this will be the last, because I initially was like, okay, I'm 3 boys, I'm done. No more. And then this came and I was like, okay, well, this is it. So from that moment on, I was like, well, this is it for sure. I know that it's a wrap after this. So.
Okay, so what was your reaction, Marquelle?
Well, I was excited because I suffered a miscarriage prior to having Lyric. So I was definitely excited. We were excited. And my husband pretty much already knew, like Aysia said, the cycle and your body. So, but I was excited.
So sorry to hear about your miscarriage. Because I know that I've heard that that's real difficult for women. So you said your husband was excited, you were excited, and now we have Lyric.
Yeah, so what about your rainbow baby?
The rainbow. So Aysia, what about your spouse? Because again, like you said, you knew your body, but sometimes men, they just like, hey.
He was excited. Was you excited? He was excited.
That was cute. He like, baby, you better be excited.
He was excited though. He was excited. So I found out he was at work. And he FaceTimed me like, so yeah, he was excited.
Oh, that's so sweet. So I know, like I said, that was between, like I said, we were all separated during the pandemic. So we were not seeing our families. We were not seeing our friends. Like I said, when I finally seen Aysia, I seen a whole stomach. I was like, oh, okay. So how did your family and friends react when they found out you were pregnant?
I think my family, and your family, they was really excited, honestly. My dad kind of just like, oh, I kind of figured you would. But everybody else was really excited. My dad was kind of, it's so we have such a large amount of grandkids for him, I guess I would say. So it's 5 of us, and then we have so many children that it's like, oh, another one for him. But everybody else was excited.
Okay.
Yep, same here. Everybody was excited. I know my son, he was extremely excited, but he really didn't understand until like my stomach started to show, because he's so young. But my mom was happy, my husband was happy, aunts, uncles. So yeah, it was an exciting time. I didn't share the news too soon because of the miscarriage. So I don't think I shared the news maybe until I was about 3 months, maybe. So yeah.
Okay. So sometimes we forget that we're in the middle of a pandemic, because I was just about to jump up and go see somebody in the hospital, and I was like, well, what's going on right now with the hospital? We're just so used to that culture. And it's still, even though we've been in this for over a year, it's still hard to wrap our minds around. Well, for me, it is. So how was your doctor visits during this time? Like, was it different from when you had your other children? You can go first, whoever wants to go first.
I'm sorry, I was feeding the baby.
You gonna go ahead, Marquelle?
Yeah, I can go ahead. I was feeding the baby.
Hi, Lyric. You making your TV debut? Hi.
Listen, I did her hair earlier, and I'm learning now because this is my first daughter, so I'm learning you can't do that hair too early. You got to wait closer to the event because her hair already messed up. But so you said, how was this pregnancy, or how was this? What was the question?
Doctor visits, because like I said, it's hard. Like it's a lot of things change. So were you like, I know for pregnancy that seemed like that would be different, but I know like a lot of other doctors were seeing people online. Like, how are you diagnosing someone via, computers or the internet? So how were the visits different? Did you have the same amount of visits you had with Logan? Or was your husband able to go in with you? How was there a difference? Did you notice that on this pregnancy versus your other son?
Yeah, definitely. With the pandemic, I couldn't have visitors, or I couldn't have people to come with me. Also, my son, like at the beginning, he couldn't come with me either. So I had to make sure I had a sitter for him, which that wasn't the same. I had my son in 2014. So, that was totally different. Having to FaceTime my husband for ultrasounds. And my appointments were pretty quick. My appointment times, they were pretty quick. So it wasn't like long waits or anything, but when you're pregnant, you had a mask on, you already can't breathe. So I hated having a mask on. But it was lonely.
And I get it, because like I said, I know your Logan probably was like, Mama, why I can't go? And then you have to find a babysitter. And then, like I said, you have to still be careful because we were in the middle of a pandemic. So you got to be careful who's coming over your house or who you're dropping them off with. So
right.
That's a lot. So what about you, Aysia? Did you notice anything different from that was, different from your other children?
Yeah, kind of similar to what Marquelle said. Doctor's visits were a lot different. I even noticed kind of during flu season, they did a few of my appointments virtual. Like if there was nothing going on, they didn't see anything that kind of concerned them, they did virtual visits with me. So they didn't even want me coming into the office during flu season. Now for the ultrasound, they did let me bring somebody. So I think that might have been where we kind of differed at, because even though it was just a short time, you had your baby in February and I had mine in April. By February, they kind of had a little bit more of an understanding, I'll say. So they was like, well, you could bring one person with you. So they let me bring one person, whereas before that was never even a question. Like your kids could come, my other sons used want to hear the. I think the only thing that was different for me is because I have a little bit older kids, I didn't have to necessarily find a babysitter. It was just, hey, I'll be right back. I got to go to these appointments. I did try to schedule them super early so that way I could be back home with my kids. I wouldn't be leaving them in the middle of the day. But that was kind of the biggest thing for me.
So again, you guys were really brave. You know, like I said, it was just a rough time during the pandemic because, you know, for a lot of people, we didn't know what was going on. There was a lot of unknowns and uncertainty. So what was the hardest part? Like I said, we did just talk about the doctor visits, but what else was hard about being pregnant during the pandemic? You know, because I can imagine like your family wanted to come over and touch your belly. Even baby showers. People were doing, you know, drive-by baby showers, whatever that, you know, I guess that's a new term. Drive by and drop the gifts on the porch. So what was your hardest part about being pregnant during the pandemic, Marquelle? You're muted. You want to go, Aysia?
Thank you. I'm here. Can you hear me? Okay. The hardest part about being pregnant during the pandemic, I would say, I mean the doctor visits, but not really because I work from home. So it's not, I see my family all the time. So I would say when I was at the hospital, like no visitors. You can't have visitors because with my son, I had visitors, a lot of visitors. You know, you need that support. So that's, I would say that.
What about you, Aysia?
I was about to say I agree with the hospital part, but I would say probably the biggest would probably be just like the lack of social interaction you can have with other people. Just because when you're pregnant, you do like, especially towards the end, it's like, okay, I'm ready for this to be over. So being able to just go out and do stuff or eat, you know, that's your favorite part of being pregnant. Sometimes going out to eat with your friends or just hanging out was a little just like constantly being in the house. That part wasn't as fun. And then, like you said, the hospital stay. And for us, I know they told us like when, you know, with dad, he can come, but you couldn't really leave and come back. And I have C-section. So I was in the hospital for 3 days. So that was just 3 days away from my other kids, or 3 days without being able to see them. And 3 days for us just being in the hospital, really couldn't go anywhere outside of, you know, they let us run and get food. But other than that, it was kind of like you can't really.
Thanks for sharing.
Yeah, I agree. I wanted to touch on what Aysia said, you know, not being able to have people to talk to. Facebook support groups. Like I joined a lot of support groups and, you know, able to talk to other women and see situations that other women were going through in their pregnancies, blogs and things like that. So, but yeah, that probably would be my number one, that not having people to talk to with the pandemic and being in the house. Yeah.
So you just don't realize you just helped someone, because I didn't even think about Facebook support groups. So is there any particular ones that you would like to shout out that, you know, maybe someone's that looking, or how did you find them? Because a lot of people, you know, are not aware of the resources that are out there. Because again, I wouldn't have never thought about a Facebook support group.
Well, this was after I had my daughter. I joined some while I was pregnant, but the most helpful support group that I found is when my daughter was going through, it was a phase, like an acid reflux phase. And so I found a support group with other moms who were suffering, you know, watching their newborns suffer with acid reflux. So that one was really helpful for me because that was a scary time. So it's an acid reflux group on Facebook.
Yeah, now that you say that, I did join a few, but it was kind of after too. And one I joined like a breastfeeding support group. I joined like a pump, so I could just learn like maybe what pump is gonna work best for me. And then somebody that I went to high school with, she started like a group. It was just called Moms, like Magic Moms or something like that. And then just like kind of inspiration, like it'll be posts that just say moms are superheroes, just have a mom holding a baby, doing a lot of, just things like that. So just those little type of posts and things like that.
So we see Lyric, she made her debut today. So no, it's not a bad thing because I love the kids. But let's talk work-life balance because again, like I've been in meetings, like I said, and mostly everybody on my team, I know their children's names now. And then if they're not on the meeting, because I think they were like, well, give me my cut of this check. Because if they're not there, we like, hey, well, where's so-and-so? Where's the baby? So how is work-life balance? Because I could not imagine. You guys, I give you guys mad kudos trying to work and actually have a little one that's needing your attention and you're still trying to fulfill your work duties plus your mom duties. So who want to go first? Because again, y'all need a cake.
Yeah, I can go first on this one just because I just was talking about this the other day. I think for me, the silver lining in the pandemic was being able to work from home. And the flexibility that we have in our position offers a lot of support to be able to be a mom at home and work. So I think for me, this part hasn't been as bad as it would have been outside of the pandemic. I think for me, it would have been harder to find a babysitter when they so little, drop somebody off, go to work, pick some. I think that was actually more difficult for me than figuring out the good balance working from home.
So Aysia, I just put something in the chat for you. Look in the private chat.
Okay.
You might need to try earbud because it's like you're breaking up.
Oh, okay. Let me see. I'm gonna go get some earbuds. I'll be.
Now, what about you, Marquelle?
Yeah. What was the question? What was the question again?
Okay, so like work-life balance. Like, okay, again, I'm here by myself, and it's hard for me to balance work, throughout the day because you have other your regular life or whatever at home, and you're here all day. Sometimes they kind of commingle. They start getting the lines get blurry.
No.
So how do you balance your life, work balance, the new baby, and everything going on through the pandemic? How do you balance your life with this new baby during this time?
I mean, I stick to schedules. Schedules are my friend now. So I have to, stick to those early morning schedules. Get up before the baby is up so I can get myself together so the workday won't be so draggy and it won't drag by. Like Aysia said, with our position and how we're able to have a little bit more flexibility with our work schedule, that really helps. My supervisor is extremely understanding. So, I'm blessed in that aspect. So I'm able to kind of balance it a little bit, a little better than someone that doesn't have the flexibility with their work schedule. So just like Aysia said.
Let me know if this is a little better than Kia.
It's a little better.
Yep.
Okay. Yep. Okay, good.
You were saying good stuff, but we couldn't hear you.
Yeah. But just to piggyback off what I said and kind of what Marquelle said, I think, like I was saying, for me, figuring out a work-life balance while being at home has been better for me personally than trying to figure it out, dropping kids off and finding a babysitter and going to work and logging in and rushing to get off to pick up the kids before the babysitter. So like Marquelle said, I just find a schedule that works for me. I know I dropped now the bigger kids are back in school. So I get up, I drop them off, drop my 4-year-old off at preschool, and then it's just me and the baby at home now. So I know her routine, so I can kind of work and do my work around it. And like she said, our supervisors are very understanding and flexible and things like that.
I'm sure everyone wants to know how do you guys relax? Because I know what I do, but like I said, you have other children, you have work, and it's like we just always in the house. Like I said, the lines get blurry. So what do you do, Marquelle, to relax?
So some things that I do to relax, of course, listen to music. Like I play my Alexa all day. All day. Listen to music and like candles. I look up new recipes to cook new recipes so I have something to look forward to for the week. And read books. So I try to find at least one good book every month.
Okay. What about you, Aysia? I
Yeah,
love channel.
I definitely will read a book. I think for me though, I shop. It's like a guilty pleasure, but that's my most relaxing time is in somebody's store, going down the aisles looking for whatever I need at the time. And I will plan a vacation.
Okay, we're still kind of breaking up, so it might not be. It might just be the computer then, or you might have to like leave the studio and come back in. No, you just leave it.
Come
Just
back
say hit
in.
leave, come back in. We'll see if that works.
And
So this is the good part, Marquelle. This is the real reason why I wanted you guys on. So what advice would you give other mothers out there that are delivering soon? Because again, there's a lot of people don't know that there's support groups out there, or there are other options.
a little bit better.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't know what was going on. But like I said, shopping is my biggest relaxation thing, and I'm good for planning a vacation, like a getaway. I will plan something and pew, be gone.
Have you been on any vacation since the baby?
I did. I went to Mexico for a wedding that had already been planned, and it was like a 4-day, 5-day trip. So I did that, and then my son turned 13, and we went to Florida for a week. And the baby went. Now the baby did go with us to Florida, but not Mexico.
Are you breastfeeding?
Not anymore. I did the first few months. I don't think I was producing enough milk, and I probably kind of got in my own head. Like I said, I probably should have been more on them groups and asking questions and things like that, because I did stop. And that was my biggest thing. I did the same thing with my son, and I was like so adamant about I'm going to stick to it this time. And I kind of got in my own head, like, I don't think I'm producing enough milk. I don't know. I had bought like the little mommy milk kit, the lactation cookies and the things like that. And I still ended up stopping. I kind of got in my own head about it.
So when you were coming back in, because you sound much better now. So this is the real reason why I do everything that I do. It's a reason behind it, because there's someone that, maybe scrolling through YouTube later on, they're just looking for some advice for mothers. Like I said, it's a hard time. And then even if it wasn't a pandemic, people just want some information. So what advice would you give mothers out there that will be delivering soon? Like I said, I don't know, I don't have children, but you guys delivered during the pandemic. So what advice would you give, Marquelle?
That would probably be my advice. My advice would be to find a support group, because it can be scary. Being pregnant is not all, bubbles and stars. You know what I mean? It's very real. So I would find a support group to, see if it's anyone out there going through the same thing that you are, and find somebody to talk to and relax. Relax as much as you can, because once that baby comes, no more relaxing.
I agree. I was gonna say the same thing. Even if it's not, if you don't want to talk to a group, find a person. Find your person. Find somebody to talk to when. Because like Marquelle said, being pregnant it is an enjoyable experience, but it's not always the most enjoyable thing. You do get to the end, and you really kind of get tired of being pregnant, and it can be a little isolating sometimes being pregnant. So find somebody to talk to, or find somebody that's, when they recognize that you're not being yourself, like, hey, let's go get something to eat, or let's get outside, and things like that, and just remain positive and try to keep yourself in a good headspace and things like that. And enjoy it too. Like if you are having, enjoy the good times that you have. And I think that's a big part of
So this question is kind of similar. So just in closing, do you have anything that you just want to share? Like, like, is there some, like, places you found to shop? Because, like for the babies, they got like the hookup sales or got the cute stuff. We both got girls. So I know you guys got the lowdowns on how to get the stuff, or, just things that you found at work. Because like I said, I never shopped for groceries prior to the pandemic, but I finally like, like, okay, bring me some waters, bring me such and such. So what would you guys like to share that, a lot of people are like the home goods? I didn't learn that till maybe a couple of months ago that Amazon had whole goods and that whole hookup. So don't look at me, Marquelle. Y'all don't keep me up to date.
No, actually, I didn't know either.
Okay, yeah. So what would you guys like to share with some ladies out there? Just any helpful information that you have that, someone that they may be able to use.
Well, I'll say this. For me, I'm a researcher on baby products. Like if I'm looking into a baby product, I'm going to research it. And I like products that are convenient because baby stuff is just, you accumulate so much of it. So I'll just look for the most convenient items that are going to be simple to use and get the job done. I think that's me. I like, sometimes a lot of gadgets are nice, but a lot of gadgets are a lot of work. So I think that would be my things. I like the minimalistic type of approach, I guess, to baby items. It kind of make your life a little bit easier when you don't have so many things. Okay, let me unfold the thing and let me clip this to that and let me pull this out. It can be overwhelming, and then you putting it up and it's just as hard to put back up. So that would be my biggest advice.
So what's your stroller? All right, so since you like the easy strollers and easy put up, so what stroller did you like research? Because you just said you researched, so
I do. I got the Duna because of the convenience of it. It's a stroller and a car seat in one. Okay. I pull it out my car, I push the button, and the wheels pop on out. It don't take up no trunk space because I got other stuff in my trunk. This summer was we had karate stuff, soccer stuff, boxing stuff, just in my trunk, and park stuff. And so just to not have a stroller back there was such a blessing. It was just a lot. And then just the convenience of, we at the car, let me push it down and pull it in. So for me, that was very, very convenient.
So what about you, Marquelle? Is there anything in closing that you would like to share, like, or products or something that just made your life easier?
I mean, I agree with that minimalist attitude or that aspect because, yeah, I'm not about to have, I don't like right now, I don't have a pack and play. She has her crib. I do have a couple other gadgets that I didn't have when I had my son. With this go round, I was kind of a little smarter with what I purchased versus what I purchased with my 6-year-old. So like, for example, the baby diaper trash can. I didn't see a need for that. I can just throw the diapers in the trash. Or if I wanted to make sure that they get outside to make sure they don't stink up the house, I just get up, walk outside and put it in a dumpster. So, I just got smarter with what I purchased. Nothing specific. My daughter doesn't really like pacifiers, so I don't have a specific pacifier. Oh, I probably will say like a product. If you're asking like about a product, maybe like the Dr. Brown's bottles, like I think it's anti-colic bottle.
Anti-colic.
Yeah. So those help my daughter a lot. And although she's breastfed, but they do still help. She actually liked those bottles versus any other bottles. But that's pretty much it. I like to spend more on her clothes and hair bows and shoes and all the cute stuff.
That's crazy that you said that though, Marquelle, because my baby will not take a pacifier.
Really?
From the time she was in the hospital, she would not. The nurses was even saying that, like, oh, she doesn't want this pacifier. She would not take a pacifier.
But I think that's a good thing because it's funny to me. And like again, I don't have children, so nobody don't be trying to inbox me or DM me talking about me. But I hate to see when it be somebody with 6 years old. They be big babies, their feet be touching the ground, and they got a pacifier. You be like, he got a whole mouthful of teeth. Why? Like, just be quiet. So I guess that's a good thing. But are they crying a lot, or without the pacifier, or they just calm babies?
Yeah, she didn't cry a lot without it. She kind of figured out, I guess, how to self-soothe without it. But she just didn't like it. And I tried a lot of different ones. I went through a lot of different brands. I asked people recommendations and tried a few different kinds. And every time she was just spit them out, and she would not stuck on a pacifier. But she did pretty good. Like I said, she was pretty calm, and even as a baby, she did really good at nighttime. Like I think she only wakes up once now, and that's kind of like 4 or 5 in the morning. So
this was some awesome conversation. I would love to have you guys back for other conversations. I don't know if you guys caught CMK After Dark. We got some good reviews about that. Maybe, the ladies' night. So if you're available Friday night, we do it 10 o'clock p.m. Eastern. So just like a little girl time, while you got, Tegan and Lyric, just, come jump and join the comments. We just be talking about, last week we talked about struggle love. This week we're going to be talking about basically like put a ring on it. Women that, the spouse die or something, and then the family come in and try to, take over. But in closing, again, shout out to Table Topics, and I just want to leave y'all with something fun because everything else was kind of serious. So, what do you miss about being a little girl, Aysia?
Not having to pay bills. I think growing up and being an adult is the biggest bamboozlement of our time. We look forward to, I can't wait till I'm older. When we get older and all the responsibilities of being older that they don't tell you about. They always say you can't do that. You can't do what you want to do until you're grown. But they don't say doing what you want to do mean paying bills and doing other stuff too. So probably just being carefree. Like I look at my kids when we do stuff, and I'm like, they're just so carefree. They don't have a concept of like money. And like we went on vacation, and they was like, we didn't even spend that much money. I'm like, we spent a lot of money to go on this vacation. Like the flight, so just the carefreeness probably of it all. And I cheered a lot, so I'll probably cheer if I had to pick a thing. I cheered.
So I see comments coming in now. So Dr. O, he's actually a doctor, so he wants to know, do you think that having children in a pandemic has brought you closer as a family? So I would assume that would be your children that are in the household with you, because we can't have a lot of visitors.
For me, I think I don't know if I would say I brought it closer, because the stuff that we did during the pandemic, we did before the pandemic. Like I make sure that we sit down and have dinner together every night. We did like a family game night prior to this, like on Sundays. We used to do that a lot anyway. So being in the house kind of just put more of an emphasis on those things, I guess. Like I don't necessarily know if I feel like it necessarily just brought us closer, because we did a lot of things together a lot anyway. So that's my say.
Probably yeah, but I know some people at this point they're trying to get away from the family. They're like, just take me somewhere.
Yeah, and then I have a teenager now, so he don't even want to be in the same room with us no more. And go about his day now. So
what would you say, Marquelle? Because like I said, were you the only one working in the household? Was your husband working at home also? Because again, you have 2 desks next to each other and everybody's working from home, to bring the family closer.
Well, my husband, he still worked all the way through the pandemic outside of the house. However, I think that another question popped up. Okay, so, but I remember the question. I think that the pandemic did bring us closer. But as far as the children, I would have wished it never happened because they need that social. I mean, not I don't wish it never happened. I'm glad it happened. But
They
children
need
need a
that social
social,
interaction.
they need a yeah, they need a social interaction. So you know, the pandemic was a lot. It was a lot for everybody. We all needed a breather from it. Let's just be honest here. The pandemic was a lot. So being in the house all day, every day, I'm not a homebody. So,
See, that's different from
I'm
me.
a homebody.
I'm a homebody. But after a while, I was like, okay, I need to get out. So that's why I'm so social now. Because I don't think that's what did it. Because before I was contented, I was like, oh, I was like, oh, I do this already. I can do this time. And then I think like this summer, the beginning of this summer is when I was like, I can't take it no more.
Because I can see these questions, can we just go through and answer them really fast?
Okay, go ahead, because you can see the questions.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so the next one just says, do you think, okay, so we did the having children during the pandemic. Do you think it's harder to have children / raise a family as a single mother, one-parent household versus a two-parent household? I've been in both situations, so I can say from my experience, it is harder in a one-parent / single mother household. Just because you're responsible for everything. There's nobody to lean on and share those responsibilities with in the house. When something has to get done, and especially if you have small children, they can't necessarily help out, then you are the only person responsible. There's nobody to split the cost of this or, just be a partner to help with. So for me, I would say, yeah, it's definitely harder being in a one-parent household versus two. And then, did your husbands have to be in the labor and delivery room? I mean, have to be. They didn't have to be. They chose to be. I would think. So I know for me, he wanted to be in there. So those would be my answers.
Same here. Yeah, same here. He wanted to be there in the delivery room. He actually recorded it. And he has it on his phone. He's like, he hasn't showed me because he's like, it was so much blood. He's like, and then you're in, because I had a cesarean. So he's like, and with my first cesarean, they wouldn't let us record, which is weird because it was at the same hospital.
So I must know, because I've watched, like I said, I've never had children, but they say that the women get real evil. So you're responsible. I was like, one of my cousins just delivered like maybe a week ago, and she's like on Facebook, I'm like, how are you delivering and mad? Talking about some, just get him, come get him. I'm like, get who? Like, what is? So she was angry with her child's father. So were you guys the nice women, or was it like Aysia smiled, so that means no?
I'm nice. I'm a nice person in general. I think though pregnancy, you get frustrated with everything being pregnant. Like everything becomes uncomfortable. Well, for me, let me say that. For me, at the end, everything becomes uncomfortable. You can't sleep how you want to sleep no more. Everything just gets harder to do, and so I don't think you get evil per se. You just get irritated by everything. Little things can start to irritate you because you're like, get this baby out of me. I'm ready to just feel like me again. And I think that's where that comes from. So I probably did get a little mean at the end because I couldn't sleep right. I had acid reflux a lot at night, and
wow,
it was bad.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with my son. I was so irritated when I was having contractions and going through that whole delivery that my husband was dressed from head to toe. I mean, dressed like he was going out to the club. And I asked him, I said, can you take that stuff off? What he had on was irritating me. I don't know why it irritated me, but it did. I wanted him to be in pajamas or something. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm over here in this bed having contractions, and you over here look like you about to go to the club. And my auntie and cousins was laughing at me because they was in the room. But I was serious.
Wait, Marquelle, you said he was going to the club?
Yes. He was very clean.
He was very clean. You be so irritated by little things at the end of your pregnancy, and especially like when you're in a delivery, like you could say something stupid like, I'm tired. You tired? I'm sitting here having a baby. What do you mean you're tired? You don't get to be tired right now.
So I know you had other children, but was this their first time? Because I don't know, like people have like before the pandemic, like you want to come watch me have this baby? I'm like, no, I'm straight. But I know that that's their child, so that's something different. But did they like tell you afterwards? Like, because I'm reading this one, it said don't look down. Because that's a sight that you really can't get out your mind. Because Aysia and Marquelle, you guys were doing the delivering. So that sight, I can imagine. So after, did your spouse tell you, like, baby, it was a little crazy down there? Even though you had
I was gonna say I had C-sections for all of my children. So that part I'm not sure on. I wish somebody told me I could have recorded Marquelle, because I want to know what that looks like, honestly. Like, but I do ask, like, what did it look like? Like, you be cut open, they had a thing over, you can see everything. So I don't know.
I can see the comments.
Epidural? Did you guys get the epidural? Because I know some.
Yeah, I can see the comments. I did. I got an epidural I got an epidural for my first son.
You get a spinal when you have a C-section.
Yep, and I got a spinal for
I had a spinal with 3 of the first one. I had an emergency C-section, so I just had a local anesthesia, but the other 3 I had a spinal tap.
Okay, so like I said, that was the funny part, because like I said, you guys were like, no, you guys were, telling Marquelle was mad because she's at her.
Listen, let me tell you another part of it. Listen, the anesthesia when my son was pregnant, and she was giving me the epidural. I mean, not the anesthesiologist, but the nurse or the person who gives the epidural. She was pregnant. And I was so irritated. And I was like, why are you pregnant? You don't want to go through this. She was laughing. She said, I already got another child. I said, ma'am, this is the worst pain in the world. Why would you ever do this to yourself? Like, they were like, ma'am, just be still. Just hold your back still so we can get that needle in your back. I was mad at her. I was mad at everybody.
And see, I had a completely different, because so with my first one, like I said, the emergency C-section. So I didn't make it far enough to really have contractions. So I didn't experience that. And then when you have a C-section scheduled, they do it a week before. So I didn't even make it that far to have contractions.
Okay, so we missed you, Marquelle. It looked like we answered all the questions. So what do you miss about being a little girl? Aysia said the bills. I can say the same thing. Y'all can keep them bills, because I mean, so even you had the money, I would get paid sometimes. And I just don't feel like paying the bills. It's just like, I don't want to. I don't want to.
Yeah, responsibilities. Yeah, no responsibilities. So same thing.
You guys are easy. Like, I don't know. I have to think about that question deeper later on, because I know it's something else that we probably missed. I don't know. Maybe it's just like you said, the carefree. I know that's like no responsibility, but I would say the carefree, where you could just go to the skating party.
Mm-hmm.
You could just, hang out. And that was when you had the real fun. Like, there was no, like, you just didn't have to think about it. You were just like, we just hang out. You didn't even need a nap. You could stay up all night and not be tired. So I would say that too, because we didn't need a lot of rest.
I agree. Me and my cousins, I remember just staying up so late. And now I'm like, it's 9 o'clock? Let me find somewhere to lay down really fast. So I agree.
Okay, so in closing, again, we're going to finally close out. I do thank you, ladies, for coming on, chatting with us. Again, you are welcome to come on any of the other shows. Again, CMK After Dark, it's a different vibe. It's all laughter and just real girl talk. So I know you guys have new babies, and you probably, just need some girl talk. Let's come on and join us, because the comments be lit on CMK. So do you want to say anything before we leave, Marquelle or Aysia?
I just want to thank you for having me. I really enjoyed this. That's really it. And I do look forward to maybe joining another one later in the future.
Awesome.
Yeah, same here. Thank you for having me. I've never done this before, never been recorded on live camera. So a great way to get out of my shell and try different things. So good seeing you guys. Good talking to you guys. See you at work tomorrow.
Right.
Exactly. That's why we like, let's go ahead and cut this video so we can get it back in work mode. So again, thank you, ladies, for coming on today. This is Let's Go Here. So this is what I do every Sunday at 7:00 p.m. And then again, don't forget CMK is on Friday nights at 10:00 p.m. And until next time, deuces.